What's going on, guys? Ted from Immersion here, and I'm back with another... I don't really know what to call these videos. I guess just to highlight this. Magic the Gathering D&D video, I guess. For those of you who are unfamiliar, or are just plainly unaware, the folks at Wizards of the Coast, who publish Dungeons & Dragons, also publish Magic the Gathering. That being said, they have released... basically at the release of every new Magic the Gathering expansion pack set, I guess. I'm not a Magic guy, so I really don't know what to call all these, but I know this Amonkhet pre-release is happening, I guess, like this weekend, or it's coming out this weekend. So they've released this Planeshift Amonkhet document, and basically... I don't know if there's a huge demand for this, and maybe if you guys know out there, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, if you wanted to run a D&D game set in this Amonkhet Magic the Gathering world, they release a PDF that tells you like how to do that and make up characters in that. And they've done it for was it like Xanathar or something? Not Xanathar. That's the Zen something. I really don't know Magic. I'm sorry, guys. But there's a couple other ones they've done this for. But basically, the reason that I suggest you check these out is they actually do put new content in it. Sometimes they may just say like, oh, reskin a human this way or reskin a half-orc this way. But sometimes, like the last one, they put out a whole new like Phoenix-based sorcerer. That was before the Unearthed Arcana where we got Phoenix Blood Sorcerer origin. It was a Phoenix Sorcerer, and it was, again, it's just thrown in there. If you didn't know, again, it's not technically published or official, but you could use it to your, to possibly help in your game or give you ideas. And there's a bunch of that in this one with a bunch of new Cleric Domains. And a couple new races that are pretty cool. So, obviously, you can tell there's kind of an ancient Egyptian theme going on here, so let's dive right in. So here we have Planeshift Amonkhet, compatible with Dungeons and Dragons. There's history of the people who made it. Okay, Zendikar. That's what it was called. So they did Planeshift Zendikar and Planeshift Kaladesh. So now we're getting Planeshift Amonkhet. And this is a little background information here from James Wyatt. So they're going to tell you, I'm not going to go too much into the history here, just because you guys can read that, and if you're familiar with Magic, maybe it'll be more familiar to you. But basically, here's a little blurb about the world. There's obviously some mummy situation, and then obviously there's a lot of deity-based stuff, with gods being a heavy focus. So, we have a couple of new backgrounds. We have People of Noctamoon Initiate here, Athletics, Intimidation. You can see a couple of these feature Trials of the Five Gods. Your life is oriented around your participation. When you prepare for and forgo those trials, you have constant access to training. You can enjoy the benefits only as you obey. Blah blah blah. A comfortable place to live and regular meals are provided to you by servitor mummies under the supervision of viziers. And these are full backgrounds, mind you, with traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. We also have... what's this next one called here? Oh, Vizier. And then again, what you get, your Vizier kind of background feature and your personality traits. Dissenter, same situation, although this one does not... this is like a variant Vizier. So, races of Amonkhet. We have humans, and humans are basically variant human. Ability score to two ability scores, medium size, proficiency in skill, a feat, and common and one other one. So they don't really give you anything extra. One thing I will say is they do reference kopeshes a lot, which are Egyptian weapons. I haven't scrolled all the way through to the very end, so they may have that, or that may just be... oh, treated as a longsword. Never mind. There we go. Aven. These are kind of avian-based races. Obviously, Egyptian theme, Horus, a lot of the gods, you have hawk-headed gods and things of that nature. You may be thinking Aarakocra, but they actually are a little bit different. They have sub-races. So all Avens get a +2 dex, a base walking speed of 25 feet, and a fly speed of 30 feet. A little bit less than Aarakocra, probably, to rein it in, because 60 fly speed was pretty crazy. And you can't fly well in medium or heavy armor. And if you're an Ibis-headed Aven, so kind of here your stork, basically, you get a +1 intelligence, and you can add half your proficiency bonus rounded down to any intelligence you make that you aren't currently proficient with. Again, that's the first time this Kefnet's Blessing we've ever seen. Sorry, there was something on my neck. The first time we've ever seen either a racial feature or anything similar to that that gives you, outside of being a bard. So that's kind of a cool, unique feature. Or a hawk-headed Aven, which is a wisdom +2. You have proficiency in the perception skill, and you don't have disadvantage on long-range weapon attacks. That's a little too powerful if you ask me. So remind you, that's a +2 dex and a +2 wisdom, and proficiency in perception, but also you basically don't ever have, so you can shoot at long range. I mean, you don't get a whole lot else from the class other than a base fly speed, so that may be a little bit overpowered. But again, these are just, the way I look at them, as tools in the DM's toolbox that Wizards of the Coast technically has come up with, that you can pull from or choose to use or not to use, but they're more official than anything else. Alright, so Kenra, these are jackal people, basically, from what I'm gathering. They do seem, there's a heavy focus on twins. They seem to be born in twins, if I'm understanding it correctly. +2 dex, +1 strength, which is an interesting combination we haven't really seen before. Proficiency with the Kopesh, spear, and javelin. Kenra twins. If your twin is alive and you can see your twin, whenever you roll a 1 on an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can re-roll the die and must use the new roll. If your twin is dead, or if you're born without a twin, you can't be frightened. Huh. That's pretty cool. So this is sort of halfling-esque, right? I mean, you've got a base walking speed of 35 feet, so you're a little bit faster than normal, +2 dex, +1 strength. Proficiency in a couple weapons, basically longsword, spear, and javelin. Spear and javelin, I think, are simple weapons, and most classes have proficiency with that, but okay. And then it's weird to get halfling luck if your twin is alive. If not, you're immune to fear. Kind of a cool little, and that could change potentially during the course of your campaign. And then we have Minotaur. We've seen Minotaur of Kryn in the very early Waterborne Unearthed Arcana. This is slightly different, and by slightly, I mean drastically. We get a +2 strength, a +1 con, solid for any physical fighter-based class. Walking speed of 30 feet. Your horns can be used as a natural weapon to make unarmed strikes. They deal 1d6 plus your strength mod, much more toned in from the 1d10 that the Minotaur of Kryn did. Menacing, we get proficiency. They're basically the half-orc of this world. Intimidation skill. When you're reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can drop to 1 instead. When you score a critical hit with a melee weapon attack, you can roll 1 additional damage die. We have Naga, snake people. Constitution +2, Intelligence +1, a solid wizard class. Your base walking speed is 30 feet. Speed Burst, this is an interesting, again, unique ability. By lowering your body to the ground and propelling yourself forward with your arms, you can move quickly for a time. As a bonus action on your turn, if you have both hands free, you can increase your walking speed by 5 feet until the end of your turn. Bonus action, increase your speed, draw your weapon. Now you got 35 feet of movement. Natural weapons, your Fanged Maw and Constricting Serpentine Body are natural weapons, which you can use to make unarmed strikes. If you hit with your bite, you deal piercing damage equal to d4 plus your strength modifier, and the target must make a Constitution saving throw, DC 8 plus proficiency bonus plus con mod. On a failed save, they take a d4 poison damage. On a pass save, they don't take anything. If you hit with your Constrict attack, you deal bludgeoning damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier, and the target is grappled. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Escape is DC 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength modifier. Until this grapple ends, the target is restrained and you can't constrict another target. Getting access to free restrain is amazing because it's disadvantage on attacks from them and advantage on attacks for you. You are immune to poison damage and can't be poisoned, similar to Yuan-Ti. You get proficiency in the Poisoner's Kit, and you can speak Common and Naga. And that's it for our races, but this is very cool. I'm a big fan of that. So now we have this Trial of the Five Gods, and we're going to get a bunch of new Cleric Domains here. So, first of all, Solidarity Domain. Your domain spells: Bless, Guiding Bolt, Aid, Warding Bond, Beacon of Hope, Crusader's Mantle, Aura of Life, Guardian of Faith, Circle of Power, and Mass Cure Wounds. It's sort of a combination of life and war domain. Or a very paladin feeling, if you ask me. Proficiency in heavy armor at level 1. When you take the help action to aid an ally's attack, you can make one weapon attack as a bonus action. Wisdom modifier times per long rest. Not bad. Help action is always, there's a couple ways you can get access to help action as a bonus action. But to be able to help and aid an ally, giving them advantage on an attack roll or ability check, and then you getting a free attack, isn't bad. I feel like as a cleric, your actions are probably going to be reserved heavily for spellcasting, but it's a nice feature. You can use your Channel Divinity to heal the badly injured. As an action, present your holy symbol and evoke healing. They can restore a number of hit points. This is the life domain cleric preserve life ability. Ketra's Blessing at level 6. When a creature within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, you can use reaction to grant that creature a plus 10, which is a War God's Blessing ability. So again, we have that kind of mixture, as I said. Divine Strike ability, an extra d8 of the weapon's damage type at 8, and again at 14. And then the Life Cleric Supreme Healing ability, where you just heal max when you do that. The Knowledge Domain is the Knowledge Domain from the Player's Handbook. Rones, the Strength Domain, that is something new. Divine Favor, Shield of Faith, Enhance Ability, Protection from Poison, Haste, Protection from Energy, Dominate Beast, Stone Skin, Destructive Wave, Insect Plague. That's interesting. It sounds like it's pulled a little bit from the Tempest Cleric, maybe a little bit again from the War Cleric. Also maybe Nature from looking at this. You learn one Druid cantrip of your choice and gain proficiency in one of the following: Animal Handling, Athletics, Nature, or Survival. You also get proficiency in heavy armor. At level 2, Feat of Strength. When you make an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw using Strength, you can use your Channel Divinity to add a plus 10 to the roll, again pulling from the War Cleric. Ronas's, I guess, Blessing at 6th level. When a creature within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw using Strength, you can use your reaction to grant the creature a plus 10 to the roll using your Channel Divinity. So that is, like, I feel like it's kind of Knowledge Domain mixed with War Domain. So it's Strength specifically being the Strength Domain, but it lets you add the plus 10 to an ability check or a saving throw, which normally War Clerics can only do it to an attack roll. Divine Strike the same, d8 at 8 and another d8 at 14. Same weapon damage type, and then Avatar of Battle. This is again the War Cleric's ability. You gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. Then we have the Ambition Domain from Bantu here. Bane, Disguise Self, Mirror Image, Ray of Enfeeblement, Bestow Curse, Vampiric Touch, Death Ward, Dimension Door, Dominate Person, Modify Memory. That sounds like Trickery Domain mixed with Death Domain, but let's keep going. We've got Warding Flare, which is the Light Cleric ability. First level, interpose your Divine Light between you and yourself and an attacking enemy. When you're attacked by a creature within 30 feet, you can use your reaction to oppose disadvantage on the roll, causing the light to flare. An attacker that can't be blinded is immune to this feature. Wisdom modifier times per long rest. At second level, you can create an illusory duplicate of yourself, Trickery Domain. Create a perfect illusion that lasts for a minute, or until you lose your concentration. The illusion appears in an occupied space that you can see within 30 feet of you. As a bonus action on your turn, you can move the illusion up to 30 feet to a space you can see, but it must remain within 120 feet of you. For the duration, you can cast the spells as if you're in the illusion space. Additionally, when you and your illusion are within 5 feet of each other, you have advantage on attack rolls against that creature, granted how distracting it is. At 6th level, Cloak of Shadows. As an action, you can become invisible until the end of your next turn. You become visible if you attack or cast a spell. I believe that's also a Trickery Domain ability. Potent Spellcasting. Add your Wisdom modifier to your Cleric cantrips, which unfortunately at this point is probably just Sacred Flame. And then Improved Duplicity, which is again the Trickery Domain ability. You now create 4 duplicates as opposed to 1. And as a bonus action, you can move any number of them up to 30 feet to a maximum range of 120. And then our last domain is Hazaret the Zeal Domain. Searing Smite, Thundering Smite, Magic Weapon, Shatter, Haste, Fireball, Fire Shield, the Warm Shield version only, Freedom Movement, Destructive Wave, and Flame Strike. Again, sounds Tempesty, sounds heavy damage. Also pulls some Paladin spells in there, so. First level, proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor. Priest of Zeal. Hazaret delivers bolts of inspiration. When you make the attack action, you can make 1 weapon attack. As bonus action, again, that is a War Cleric ability. Consuming Fervor at level 2. When you roll fire or thunder damage, you can use your Channel Divinity to deal maximum damage instead of rolling. That's crazy powerful. It was the Tempest Cleric had when you roll thunder damage, you can maximize it. This is fire and thunder. And they give you access to Fireball and the Flame Strike spell. Flame Strike not so much, but to be able to do a Fireball and just say it does 48 damage, it's kind of powerful. But okay. Level 6, Resounding Strike. When you deal thunder damage to a larger or smaller creature, you can push it up to 10 feet away from you. That is a Tempest Cleric ability. Divine Strike. Still only the damage of the weapon type here, not perhaps to remove a little bit of the cheese where a Tempest Cleric does thunder damage with their Divine Strike, which they can maximize. And then Blaze of Glory. This is a new ability, level 17. When you are reduced to 0 hit points by an attacker you can see, even if you would be killed outright, you can use your reaction to move up to your speed towards the attacker and make 1 melee weapon attack against it, as long as your movement brings you within reach. You make this attack with advantage. If the attack hits, the creature takes an extra 5d10 fire damage and an extra 5d10 damage of the weapon's type. You then fall unconscious and begin making death saving throws as normal, or you die if the damage you took would have killed you outright once per long rest. That's crazy. I love that ability. It's a cool, like, you may take me down, but I'm gonna take you with me kind of situation. 10d10 extra damage on top of whatever your weapon damage is, which again, remember, right here is going to be boosted by a minimum of 2d8 from your Divine Strike ability, so it's pretty crazy. And then lastly at the end we have the Almond Cat Bestiary. This is going to tell you what you've seen in the other ones, where it's going to tell you what monsters, it's going to tell you which ones to use, but it's also going to give you some new ones, so we're going to take a look more at those. Angels, demons, I see here we've got Devas, Nalfeshni, giant crocodiles, bone devils, sphinxes, Androsphinx, but we do have a Cryosphinx here, CR 13, pretty beefy looking, is immune to any effects that would sense its emotions or read its thoughts, as well as divination spells that it refuses. Insight checks made to ascertain its intentions or sincerity have disadvantage. Its attacks are magical. It makes a ram attack and 2 claws. The ram is 3d8 plus 4 and the claw is 2d8 plus 4. And it has 3 legendary actions. 1 it can use to make a ram attack, and 2 it could use to teleport 120 feet to an unoccupied space. Resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, and immunity to psychic, charmed, and frightened. Pretty cool. Stats are fairly solid. We have dragons here. The dragons of Amonkhet are red dragons. So there you go. We have drakes. A pteranodon can represent a smaller drake, and a larger one is more like a giant eagle. And then we have to talk about some curses and some mummies here. Some desert creatures. Hydras, purple worms. We do have a new Manticore, though. The Heart Piercer Manticore. Challenge rating 5. It's still got a fair amount of health, an AC of 15. Multi-attack makes 2 attacks, one with its bite and one with its claws. Its bite is 2d6 plus 4. Its claws are 2d8 plus 4. And its stinger attack actually has a 10-foot reach, 2d6 plus 4. The target must make a DC 14 con save or take 7d6 poison damage, half as much on a success. We have a Serpopard, which is a serpent leopard, basically. A really cool creature. This gives me a big avatar feel. This is a beast. Challenge rating 3, so you druids could turn into this. I don't think the Manticore was a monstrosity. Yeah, so the Serpopard. 52 health, 12 AC. Advantage on perception checks. It does have pounce ability. You gotta move 20 feet. DC 14 strength saving throw. Wait a minute. Whoa, hold on. There's a big typo here. If the Serpopard moves at least 20 feet towards a creature and then hits it with a claw attack on the same turn, it must succeed on a DC 14 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. If the target's prone, the Serpopard can make one bite attack against it as a bonus action. It only has bite attack listed, so we don't know what its claws are. It also doesn't... I mean, I guess it does have legs. I was going to say, if it's a snake, how does it have claws? Let's see. 1d10 plus 4 piercing damage. Target must make a DC 14 con save or take 3d6 poison damage, half as much on a success. They also say Ceradons are basically mammoths. They have the siege ability. Now we're here at the Luxe River. Monsters found in the river include fish such as quippers, giant frogs, crocodiles, elephants. For hippopotamus stats, hippopotamus can hold its breath for 30 minutes. Giant constrictor snakes, behirs. And then appendix, planeswalkers, and the multiverse. And we can see all of the other planes that are out there. The 4th plane shift article corresponding to the release of the 4th volume of the Art of Magic the Gathering, which means that at this point you could put together a 4-person party of planeswalkers and have each one of them come from a different plane. So there you go. You can see all this stuff here, and then that kind of gives you a little bit more about plane shift and how to incorporate stuff into a planeswalker campaign. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to highlight that for you in case you were curious what this is. But like I said, some of that stuff was cool, and you can possibly pull that and add it into your game, switch things up a little bit. Or maybe, you know, if you are running a D&D campaign set in with a Planeswalker setting, or run a D&D regular game and you have a Planeswalker character appear in your game. They are walking the planes. It's entirely possible. So, anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.